Well, it almost goes without saying, Darren, but you look at the fixture schedule you've got coming up, and with the cup fixtures and then the rearranged games as well, it really is a busy 6 weeks. I guess simultaneously a bit of a challenge, but also a great opportunity. If you can get on a roll, it could be a really big month or so.
Yeah, it's going to be a really pivotal month to where we end up in the season, I feel. The next 2 months are going to be, we're all the way through February to the start of March with 3 games a week. So it's going to be a busy schedule, but, touch wood, at the moment, all my players are fit. I'm going to need them all. But I feel confident that the work we got into them during the break will stand them in good stead.
Yeah, it ends up being two sides of the same coin, really, in that you missed the games over Christmas, which has made this period busier. But then at least you've had that break. It's allowed you to, as you say, touch wood, get the injuries all sorted out and have a really clear run at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the work we've done over the last 2 weeks has just sort of refreshed everyone. I think that's important. I thought we had a good performance at Lincoln in the first half, and we were a lot more ruthless against Portsmouth on Tuesday. So there's been improvement from Saturday to the Tuesday, which I was pleased about. And we're going to need to continue that. Our home form, we've got to be mindful that we've played 3 less games at home than we have away. And our home form is really strong. And if we continue our home form, that will give us a chance. There's no doubt about
it. The nature of the pitch, how much of a factor will that be? I guess the weather could dictate. If you get a lot of rain, it makes it harder. But how much of a concern is it?
It's less a concern than what it should be, because we've got this tent that we've got for the rest of the season, thankfully, that's covered the pitch, and we'll continue to cover it when we're not using it. For example, today, obviously it's been raining for the last 2 days. It's now snowing. It made the training ground pitch extremely wet and heavy. And so every day that goes by with the tent that we're using actually dries the pitch out. So you would like to think there's an improvement every day. Obviously, the problem we're going to have, or the issue we're going to have, is with 3 games in a week. Tuesday just gone, we've got Saturday, and then we've got following Tuesday. So it's going to make it a mess. We just have to get on with it. As long as it's playable, we'll get on with it, and we can't have any more postponements, that's for sure. So we have to just do what we can. The groundsmen and everyone at the club's doing all they can, and they've been great. So to get a bit of growth into it means that, once we get through the game against Charlton, then we've got a bit of a breathing space, so that should help.
In terms of the training, clearly you've got all of these regulations around COVID. When you have a day like today where the outside facilities are affected by the weather, and then presumably you can't really use the indoor ones?
No, it does. It's just, listen, it's bad weather. So what we've got to do is, in terms of players, when they finish a session like today, it's a case of just going straight home, getting a shower at home, and, getting some food into them, because obviously they can't go into the facilities, can't use showers, they're soaking wet, so they need to just get in the car. That's the I suppose the most difficult bit for the players. But we're not using the building apart from one room where the players are all in the same bubble. But it's a case of myself, outside on the grass, finish the session, and that's it. And I think the players, that's the most difficult bit when the weather's like this today, when you're absolutely soaking wet through. You just have to get in your car and get home.
Are you all COVID clear for the weekend?
All clubs negative, touch wood, which is really good. Delighted about that, and because everyone's health is paramount before anything else. So I'm absolutely delighted that's the case.
And it puts you in a really good position with your team selection to have everyone available. Always the sort of decisions that a manager
wants. Yeah, it is. They can be difficult, but I think we've shown over the last 4 or 5 weeks that we've got a good squad, and some have come in and done really well, and others are now back from injury. Obviously, there's going to be 3 or 4 more senior players that are not going to be even in the 18. That's the difficult bit, I have to say. And it's not a case like you won't need them, because we probably will. So, and that can change all the time. So for the manager, the hardest thing can be picking a bench, picking an 18, rather than picking a starting 11.
With Tuesday night's game, clearly in so many respects you got what you wanted. Aside from perhaps the goal going in right at the end, with the other thing you'd have you'd have kind of wanted from it that you didn't get the Sammy Smodic situation. He's going well, but he just needs that goal or that assist or that game-changing moment just to kick it off.
But I think we don't need to focus on it too much. I understand why you're asking the question, but for me, my focus is on his performances. I don't care who scores. If we win 5-1 every week and he plays well and he never scores another goal for the rest of the season, I'm not really bothered. He probably will be, but I wouldn't be. And his performances, I think, will get him the goals. He's playing well in the last 2 games, looked much more like himself. I thought he was good on Tuesday. Got another 90 minutes into him, which I think the boy needs. It's only a matter of time, I think, before he starts scoring. But like I say, it doesn't bother me. If he gets performances enough to stay in the team where he's at the moment, then I'll be delighted.
And with Milton Keynes, you said when we had them a month ago that you thought they were really developing as a side, and the Christmas period seems to have underlined that. They've had a good start to 2021.
Yeah, I think they'll be up there. I really do. I think they're a very good team. And I think they've got goals in their team now. They've signed a young boy from Chelsea as well. They've lost Morris, but Jerome's scoring goals now. I think that was their Achilles heel, not scoring. A lot of the ball, but not scoring. And they've seemed to have, 4-1 at Swindon they won. They obviously took Burnley all the way last week. They're in good form. We're going to have to do a couple of things in particular far better than what we did at their place. That's what we'll have worked on and what we speak to the players about. We'll get a much better performance than we did at their place. We'll give them more problems.
Yeah, typically with the pace you've got in the team and the way in which you often find space on the break, you'd think there would be the opportunities there. It much happen at Stadium MK, but presumably, as you say, you've got a few ideas to build on.
Yeah, we didn't play well at Milton Keynes. We dug a point out. We just about deserved that. I'm not going to kid anyone with that. I'll give an honest opinion, as I always do. We didn't play well at all, and we didn't stick to the game plan. We didn't do certain things. What I'm speaking about, 2 things in particular, well at all. So that's something that we'll address, and that's something the players are aware of. And we're at home. I've mentioned obviously how good our home form is, and we go into it with a lot of confidence.
And just to finish, the FA Youth Cup, was that something that was consulted on? Did you know that decision was going to be taken prior to it happening?
I was aware there was talks going on with the possibility of postponing it or suspending it. And I got made aware of that on Tuesday morning. Kieran Scarf, the academy manager, he was made aware of it, obviously. And obviously they've suspended it. What they're going to do with the league now, I don't know. Because I think part of the reason for suspending it was the travelling, but there is still quite a bit of travelling, even though it's regionalised in the league. So we'll wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah, frustrating for the individual youngsters involved, but presumably you're behind the idea of just keeping things as simple as possible at the moment.
I think so. I think that's common sense has come into it, and suspending it, at the moment is probably the right thing.